Actually, right next door they have a church, and I just wonder how many people are in there this morning compared with the number of people here. And one could almost think of a hymn to go for this morning, and that would be "O Happy Band of Pilgrims," because really we go back to what Francis was saying, and earlier Monty, today is the 7th anniversary, and it's taken that long. In actual fact, one anniversary we could be celebrating now is 4 years ago that the propositions that were brought forward by Francis, myself and Monty to get the committee inquiry. It's taken 4 years to get there, and now 1 year on from the start of that committee of inquiry, we're now getting a call for more money. I'm disappointed they need more money, but at the same time, if you start a job, you've got to finish the job. And I think that's very important. And I'm disappointed actually, as much as I'm pleased that Ian Gorst at least has got the bottle to say, I give the committee of inquiry my support. I know full well he has not got the support within the Council of Ministers. That same Council of Ministers, they're different people, or some are the same, but basically they're different from the group that opposed the committee of inquiry in the first place. But they still have that rubber stamp on their back saying, we don't really want to find out what is the truth. But this debate that's going to come up, what, on the 24th, I think it's a couple of weeks' time? I hope that certain parts will be defeated, because it cannot be a cap. And I just see someone here from Radio Jersey, Kate's here. The other morning we had the opportunity to call the Minister, and I was able to get on and ask the Minister, is the 13 million, sorry, is that a cap? And he made it quite clear it is not a cap. And I did ask again, what will he do if he hasn't got the money? Will he go to the UK for it, because the UK are going to spend a lot of money on their inquiry, and poor Jersey hasn't got the money to find out the truth? He said, no, I will come back to the States. Well, one wonders why he's got to come back to the States asking for 13 million. Why not ask the States to give me the money to finish the job? So although it may well be, I hope it is succeed the way it gets the money, I think it will need an amendment to ensure that it isn't capped. Because if it is capped, what are we going to do? Do you then almost get to the truth, and then you've got to pull out?
What happened to the blank cheque for Alford?
Sorry?
What happened to the blank cheque for Alford?
Well, yes, I think when it was mentioned about, I think it was Monty mentioned about no stone unturned, but he also said no expense will be spared. So none of us want to waste money, and I certainly would oppose to it. But at the same time, we've started, we've got to finish, and I hope that obviously you people will continue to give their support. What this committee of inquiry is not for seeking revenge, it's seeking justice. And that's what we're all here for. Thank you.
Hey.
Having a public inquiry into something that goes wrong in your public administration is a fairly common thing. Most civilized jurisdictions do it, and they do it fairly easily and fairly routinely when things go wrong. That's why when, with the help of survivors and whistleblowers and witnesses, when I first started to become fully aware of the nature of concealed child abuse in Jersey in the latter part of 2006 and in that first 6 months of 2007, I knew then, experiencing how I was routinely lied to and obstructed by senior civil servants and others, I knew then that the island would have to have a public inquiry into what was clearly and plainly a grotesque failing in the island's entire culture of child protection and child welfare. I said that when I gave an answer in the Jersey Parliament in July 2007, which was the first public statement by any public official in Jersey ever, to the effect that we had failed and failed children very, very badly. And I said, if I was being asked, did I have any confidence in the island's child protection systems, I have to say no, and I'm going to commission an independent external investigation into what went wrong. That was in July 2007. Had Jersey's governance system been civilised, within a couple of months of that time, we would have had a public inquiry initiated. Instead, we had years of the most disgusting, corrupt, cynical and wretched politicking and frankly criminal conduct by the island's polity to do everything it possibly could to cover things up. This included an illegal conspiracy on the part of civil servants to engineer my dismissal. It eventually included the illegal suspension of the good police chief, Graham Power. I spoke recently at the national meeting for a nationwide child abuse campaign at the House of Commons. And I said there to those survivors and campaigners from up and down the country that in order to really succeed in our campaign, we have to ask ourselves two questions and ask ourselves what the answers to those two questions would be. And the first question is actually, what is it we're really needing to investigate and inquire into here? And although child abuse is deeply wrong and deeply serious, actually the problem we're investigating is something deeper than that. It's actually the wretched corruption of public administration in Britain and in Jersey. Let's face it, things like the notorious child abuse episodes at different places up and down the country, monsters, psychopaths like Jimmy Savile, the authorities knew about these things, but they were covered up. Now that is the corruption of power. So we have got to be clear that if we're going to succeed in this campaign to make things safe for the vulnerable in the future, first thing we've got to do is recognise what it is we're campaigning for, and that is to address the corruption of power. The second thing we have to ask ourselves is, what would success look like if we win this long campaign? Success would look like actually having proper checks and balances, effective scrutiny, real accountability, and the proper rule of law. And in that sense, I'm very confident that all of the survivors of child abuse and all of the supporters, the witnesses, the whistleblowers, the campaigners, we will succeed, and we're going to succeed in achieving something actually deeper and more important to society than only protecting vulnerable children into the future. We're going to clean up a corrupt system of governance to make our society better and more law-abiding. It's not going to be easy, it's going to still take some years yet, but I believe that hopefully we can get there, because hopefully, even in Jersey, there are civilised values that will prevail at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.